This conference will now be recorded.
Now, so in today's session, we are going to discuss about the JSON format, and we will see what exactly the JSON format, what is the use, and why should we go for the JSON formats, and how the JSON format will be represented, and how can we pass that JSON format of content. We'll see practically. Now, for example, let me explain a small scenario. Now, for example, assume that I have an application. It's a third party application. It's a third party application. It's a third party application. For example, it is a weather map application. It's a weather map application. Now, as part of this weather map application, they are having a web service. Okay, they have a web service. They have a web service. Weather detail service. So this is the service name, resource name. Okay, they're having a web service. Okay, they're having a web service with the name, okay, weather details service. This is a web service which they have implemented. So this application they have built by using some Java program. Java program. So where they're having so many weather stations. Through those weather stations, they're collecting the various cities weather information, like as they're collecting the minimum temperature, maximum temperature, wind speed, pressure information, humidity information, how will be the clouds today, the whole information they're collecting through the weather stations. And once the information has been collected, they're storing that information inside their database. Okay, they're storing that information inside their database. So they're having their own database. This is the web service which they have, which has been built by using some Java program. And they're having a table. That means they're having a database table. They're having a database table. So which is having some set of columns inside it. It is having few columns inside this table. So they're having a table. So this is the weather details table. In this table, they're storing all the details of the various cities weather information. They're storing the city name, and then along with that the city code, and they're storing the geographical coordinates of that city, and they're storing the weather information like as wind information, speed information, and then the pressure information, and then they're storing the humidity, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, average temperature, everything they're storing inside this table. So now what this web service will do, basically this web service is going to be receiving a city name. Based on that city, it will be collecting the respective weather information from the database table. So in this case, what this particular web service will do, this web service is going to be connecting to this table based on the city name, and it will be collecting the weather information. It will collect the weather information. So that weather information it is passing to the respective third party application or the client application. So now in this case, whenever if you want to invoke this web service, we have to pass a parameter. So what is that parameter? We have to pass the city name. That means which city is the weather information you want. You have to pass a city name to this web service. Then the web service is going to be collecting the city name. Based on the city, it will go to the respective table. It will query the data from this table by using some programming, by using some database connections. It will collect that city's weather information. And then once the weather information is available, it will be sending that weather information. So this is the weather map application functionality, for example. Okay, this is the weather map application functionality where they have built a web service. So we haven't prepared that. This is purely developing by some Java team, some other organization, some other developers has implemented this. So they have implemented a web service which will be receiving the city name as input. Based on that city name, it will go to the respective database table. From the table, it will collect the weather details of that respective city, and this city for this weather information is passing. Now, so for example, here I'm having my Salesforce system. I'm having my Salesforce application. I'm having my Salesforce application right now. So this is my Salesforce application. Salesforce application. In this Salesforce application, I'm having a user interface. It may be Salesforce page, it may be anything, whatever. I'm not bothered about that. So I have a user interface. This is the user interface. I'm having a user interface. In this user interface, I'm having a text box along with a label. Enter city. City. There is a text box. So beside that, we have a small button control. There is a button control called as go. And there is a button control called as go. And then below I'm having the text boxes or the labels. Now, here I want to show that weather information like pressure, humidity, and then I would like to specify the wind speed, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, maximum temperature in terms of degrees centigrade. This is in terms of centigrade. So in this case, suppose for example, assume that I'm entering city name as some Hyderabad. Okay, Hyderabad. So now as soon as once you click on this go button, after entering the city name, as soon as once you click on that go button, automatically the request has to be sent to that web service. That means I would like to invoke this web service. I would like to invoke this web service. That means I'm invoking the web service. That means call the web service. Call the web service by passing the parameter name as some Hyderabad. Here I'm indicating the parameter name. The parameter value is what? Hyderabad. So this is the parameter value which I would like to indicate. I'm passing the parameter as okay Hyderabad. This is a request. I'm going to be making a request. As soon as whenever I'm going to be invoking this web service, then the web service will be receiving the city as Hyderabad. Based on that city name, it will go to their database. It will collect the weather information of the city Hyderabad. Once it has been collected, it will be sending the response back. Sending the response. It will send the response information. Send the response, which contains the weather details. Which contains the weather details. So whatever the city's weather information is there, that weather information it is sending to the respective application as a response. Then how it is sending this weather information? This weather information it is sending to this third-party application, nothing but to my Salesforce application in the form of a JSON format. In the form of a JSON format. A JSON format. The response will be sending in the form of JSON. Then what is this JSON format? Why should we go for JSON format? How this JSON format look like? And then how to parse this JSON format? We'll see practically today. Now, so whenever you are invoking any web service, that means this is my Salesforce application. From this Salesforce application, whenever you are invoking third-party applications of web services, that means somebody has prepared some web services. Okay, somebody has prepared some web services. I'm invoking those web services from my Salesforce. In this case, whenever you are invoking the third-party web services from Salesforce, then it is called as callout feature. Callout feature. So what do you mean by this call out? Call out means what? Call is going to outside. Okay, call is going to outside. Nothing but Salesforce is invoking the third-party web service. So first of all, as soon as once you click on the go button, and then behind that button control, I would like to write some logic where that logic is connecting to this third-party web service based on the endpoint URL, based on the method name, by passing some parameter inside the request body. The web service will be receiving this input parameter. Based on the input parameter, it will be collecting the respective city's weather information. It will be sending the response back. So the call is going to outside, nothing but Salesforce is invoking third-party web services. Whenever Salesforce is invoking the third-party web services, then it is called as call out. Okay, call out. Like as outgoing, for example, myself. Okay, myself, some Salesforce application. And then, so now here we are having some Ganesh. Ganesh is a weather map application. So assume that we both are friends. I would like to make a call to Ganesh. So I have dialed his number in my mobile. When I click on call button, call is connecting to that Ganesh mobile. So now tell me that call is for me. For me, that call is what? It's an outgoing call. That means from my mobile, the call is going to outside to connect to that other mobile numbers here. So in this case, what happened? Whenever we are making a call to the other people, then it is called as okay outgoing call. That means outgoing. That means it is connecting to the other mobile number. Like the similar way, whenever the Salesforce application is invoking the third-party web services, then it is called as call out. Okay. Whenever the Salesforce is invoking third-party web services, then it is called as call out feature. Clear? Now, so now here in this case, now here in this case, if it is a reverse process, if it is a reverse process, like yesterday in the previous sessions, we have built our web services. We have built our web services, RESTful web services we have prepared. If Java application is invoking our web services, then what it is calling. Like suppose Ganesh is calling me, then it is an incoming call for me. It's an incoming call. That means somebody is calling me. The call is coming to my mobile. Like the similar way, suppose if you are having your own web service as a Salesforce, for example, let me show you. Let me explain. Suppose, for example, here. Assume that this is a Java programming application. This is my Salesforce application. Then what it means over here? So this is the client application which has been developed by using some Java, and then I'm having my Salesforce application. I'm having my Salesforce application, and I have prepared my own web service, which is a get service. Which is a get, which is receiving the city name as parameter. It is passing that response back. So there is a Java application. This Java application is invoking a request to my web service. Java application is calling my web service. So the call is coming into my Salesforce. So then it is called as call-in feature. Then it is called as call-in feature. Call-in means what? Whenever third-party applications are invoking your own web services, then it is called as call-in. Suppose your Salesforce application is invoking third-party web service, then it is called as call-out, like as incoming, outgoing. Simple concept, nothing different. Like whatever the way we are doing that incoming and outgoing, we collect the similar passion here. Now, so as of now, what we did that calling. That means what we have prepared our own web services, which will be invoking with the third-party applications. Now let's come to that call out. So somebody has implemented their own web services. Now, as a Salesforce application, we need to invoke that web service. I'm developing a Salesforce application. Through this Salesforce application, I want to connect to that banking systems. So that here I need to integrate with payment gateway. Payment gateway is a web service which is exposing by the banking organizations. We need to buy the license of the payment gateway. Through the payment gateway, we can connect Salesforce application with the banking systems, and they can perform the banking transactions through online. We are having SMS gateway in order to send the SMS notifications. In order to send the SMS notifications, we are going to be integrating with the SMS gateways. SMS gateway is a web service which has been developed by an organization by using some different programming language. So at that time, we need to connect our Salesforce application to that SMS gateway, so that after creating a lead record, depends upon the lead phone number, it has to send one SMS notification. Depends upon the account phone, it has to send one SMS notification to the people. Like that. To send the SMS notification, I have to integrate my Salesforce application with the SMS gateways. So in this case, what happened? We need to integrate with some third-party web services. We have to invoke some third-party services which are called as call out. Interview point of view, if any raise a question, so now how can integration? Say yes. Then they will raise a question. What type of integration you have used? We have used RESTful implementation. And then what you did as part of REST? Have you consumed party web service, or have you prepared own web services? You can say both. Already we have prepared our own web service. It's consuming by some party people. And now we are consuming, we are invoking the third-party web services. That means we are invoking third-party web services. Both, okay, both we have prepared our own custom web services and we have consumed third-party web services also, both. Okay, you have to explain like this. Then at that time, upon building the web service, your own web service, what are the various methods are available, HTTP methods. Annotations you have to explain, REST resource annotation, HTTP get, HTTP post, HTTP put, HTTP patch, HTTP delete. You have to explain everything. Then how to implement that, how to pass the parameters, everything you have to explain over there. Now, so now in this case, how can we invoke these third-party web services? Whenever you are invoking the third-party web services, third-party web service is going to be sending the response back to you in the form of JSON format. In the form of JSON format. Now, so now here in this case, whenever you are invoking any third-party web service is returning the result in the form of JSON format. Previously, it used to send the response in the form of XML, but now nobody is using XML, everybody is using JSON because JSON is a lightweight, human readable text format of data which can be used to exchange the data between the multiple systems. JSON format of response is very easy to understand, very easy to parse. It's a lightweight, human readable, client side processing representation. That's what every mobile application is supporting this JSON format. Almost all the mobile devices are using JSON format because JSON is lightweight, which is human readable format. Now, in this case, whenever we are receiving any, whenever you are invoking any third-party web service, the web service is returning the response to you in the form of JSON format. Then what exactly is a JSON format? Then how can we represent this JSON format of content? We'll see practically now. Now, so first of all, we have to understand what exactly JSON. Now, so first of all, we have to understand what exactly the JSON. JSON stands for what? JSON stands for JavaScript object notation. JSON stands for JavaScript object notation. So what is this a JSON format? JSON is a common format. It's a common mechanism. Okay, it's a common mechanism in order to exchange the data between the multiple applications. Now, so whenever we are having that integration with any third-party system, maybe your third-party system is invoking your web service, or you may be interacting with the third-party web service also. In this case, what happened? Upon sending the request to that from Salesforce to Java, then how can we send this request? This request we have to send to the Java in the form of the understandable format. We have to send this request to the Java programming, which can be understandable by Java programming. Now, in this case, the Java program will receive that format, the request. Based on that, it will be processing the request. It will send the response back to you. So for that reason, they are going to be using a common messaging format that is called as a JSON. Like for example, Assume that I'm explaining this whole topic in the form of English because you all the people aware of English language, I know English, so that we can able to communicate with each other. Suppose if I'm explaining everything in terms of Tamil, will you able to understand? No. I know Tamil, but you don't know Tamil. Suppose if you're raising a question in Malayalam, then I can't understand because I don't know Tamil, I don't know Malayalam. Then how can you understand, okay, your question? It's a communication gap. So in this case, what happened? Whenever if you want to talk to each other, we need a common language, which can be understandable by both the people. We are using a common language here, that is English, so that you will be aware of English. I'm also aware of English, so that I'm explaining the information. If you're having any question, you can raise the question in English, then I can give the answer in English also. Because we are using a common language which is used to exchange some information. You can raise some question, I will give some answer to you. So for that one, like the similar way, okay, like us, if the multiple application wants to talk to each other, multiple application wants to interact with each other, then they need a common language. Because every programming language is having its own internal format. Like for example, when you go to Java, Java is using Java storing the information in the form of bytecode. Bytecode is a separate format introduced by Sun Microsystems, okay, which can't be understandable by any programming language, any operating system. Suppose when you go to .NET, okay, when you go to .NET is representing the data in the form of MSL format, Microsoft Intermediate Language format, because they have introduced that format. That format will be understanding by only Microsoft operating systems, Microsoft products, not the other applications, not the other operating systems. But in this case, how can we connect to that? We need a common language, right? Yes. Every programming language is having its own representation, its own format of object notation. But now I need a common format through which I can able to send some information to the other application, so other application can understand that format. So we need a common language. We need a common format. That common format is called as JSON. So JSON is a representation, a format which we are using to exchange the data between the multiple applications. Now you can raise a question, sir, Salesforce is about supporting JSON. Will the remaining programming languages are supporting JSON? Yes. Every programming language, every technology, every database, every operating system will support JSON. Why? Because JSON is purely representing in the form of text format, strings. String data type is a common data type in every programming language. Wherever you go in any programming language, it may be legacy programming language, it is a modern programming language right now we have. It may be any other programming language which may come in the future. String data type is a common data type. Every programming language, every database, every operating system can understand string format. That's what they have introduced this JSON format. JSON format is purely representing the data in the form of text format, which is purely in human readable format. Because text format means what? String. String means some alphabetical characters. When you look into that alphabetical character, can you able to read that information? Yes, because we know that characters. We know that alphabetical characters. We know that English language. We know that string formats. We can read that one. We can understand that. So that when coming to the JSON, JSON is one of the common representation. It's a common messaging format which will be understandable by all the programming languages, all the technologies, all the databases, and all the operating systems as well. That's what JSON is more popular. JSON is more popular, more advanced right now. Previously, some time back, the people used to introduce that XML, but XML is no more now, because the XML parsing will be very huge. Okay, it will be taking more time. For that reason, everybody is using JSON format nowadays. Suppose, for example, if you know that a database called as a MongoDB is one of the database, like as Oracle, SQL Server, like the similar way, we have one database called as MongoDB, which is purely storing the data in the form of JSON format. MongoDB purely storing the data in the form of JSON format. They're not using table, they're purely storing in the form of JSON. Because for representing or searching the JSON format of data is very, very easy. Very simple, very lightweight. That's what here each and every programming language is supporting JSON format, especially mobile devices. Mobile devices are purely supporting JSON format. That's what every mobile device, every smartphone, every tab internally using JSON format of representations. Now, so in this case, when coming to the JSON, so what exactly the JSON? JSON is a commonly using messaging format, okay, for the various applications, okay, for the various applications to provide the communication between the multiple applications, to exchange the data between the multiple applications, irrespective of the programming languages. Now, so JSON is a commonly using messaging format for the applications, for the application, irrespective of the programming language. So JSON format will be supporting by, it will be understandable by all the programming languages. Any programming language, whatever we have, okay, in IT industry, all the programming languages will understand this JSON format. So that JSON is a commonly used message format for interoperability. Interoperability means what here? We can able to integrate nothing but passing the data from one application to another application, one programming language to another programming language. Now, like for example, we can pass the data from Salesforce to Java application or Java application to Salesforce also. We can able to send. We can send the request in the form of JSON. We can get the response also in the form of JSON format. And that too, JSON is a lightweight, okay, text-based human-readable format. Okay, JSON is a text-based, lightweight, human-readable format which can be understandable by all the programming languages. And by using this JSON, we can provide the communication between the disparate systems. Disparate systems means different applications which has been developed by using different programming languages which are running on the different platforms, so that we can provide the communication, we can provide the exchange of the data between the multiple applications also. Now, so in this case, when coming to the JSON format, JSON format has been extended from the JavaScript. It has been extended from JavaScript. JavaScript is the client side, okay, it's client side scripting language. It's not a programming language, it's a scripting language, okay, scripting language. But the scripting language is to check the syntax, it is having interpreter, no compilers. Programming languages are compiler based, okay, scripting languages are interpreter based. Okay, JavaScript is not a programming language, it's a scripting language, which is purely interpreter based. Now, so in this case, whenever you are storing the JSON format of data, then how it is storing here? What is the extension of that JSON file format? So JSON file format will be .json. JSON. JSON file format extension is, that means whenever you are storing the JSON content inside a file, which will be having the extension .json. Now, then what is the use of this JSON format basically here? So now JSON format is used to, okay, serialize the data. Okay, JSON format is used to serialize the data, and then we can transfer the data over the network. Serializing means what? Serializing in the sense, basically, okay, basically serializing means what? Converting object format of data into string is called as serialization. Okay, serialization. Converting object format of data into the string format is called as serialization. Now, serialization. By using this JSON, we can implement a serialization and then deserialization. Serializing means what? converting object into string format is called as serialization. Now this serialization is also called as, when coming to this serialization process, this serialization process is also called as pickling. This is also called as marshalling. Marshalling is also called as pickling. Pickling. So now here in this case, now, so whenever we are going to be sending the data from your local system to the third-party application, like for example, this is my Salesforce application. So now I have collected the data which is in my Salesforce object format. This object format of data I want to convert into the string format. So that here we are going to be doing that serialization. Serialization is a process of converting your Salesforce object format into string format. So the string format of data will be transferring over the network very easily to the web service. So web service is receiving the string format of data. It will process your request. It will be sending the response. It will collect the response from the database that is in the form of Java object format, that is bytecode, converting that bytecode into string format again here. Okay, we are going to do nothing but we are converting the object into the string format again, so that we can receive that string format of data. So whenever we are serializing means what? Serializing is a process of converting object format of data into string format is called as serialization. This is also called as marshalling. This is also called as pickling. Now, so deserialization means what? It's a reverse process of serialization. That means whenever you are converting string into object format, string format of data into object format, then it is called as deserialization, which is also called as unpickling, and then unmarshalling. Unmarshalling. We are having that serialization and the deserialization. That already told you, okay, during our future methods, already told you a small point over there. Future method does not support to take a subject type of parameters as input. Future methods doesn't accept the subject type of parameters as input. Then how can we pass? I want to pass a subject type of parameter. Then what we can do at that time, we have to use the help of deserialization. That means whatever the object that we have, convert that object into string format and then pass over there. That is serialization. And then once it is reaching to that future method, okay, because the future method will be supporting string format of data, then we have to convert that string into your actual object format here. That means deserialization. I think I have given that the small point over there. I showed you practically during that time. Let me check. See. So in this case, so whatever the object that we have, LST accounts, nothing but here I have prepared some list of account records. Okay, list of accounts are there, 5 account records are there. This is in the collection format, nothing but object format. So I have converted this object format of data into string format by using serialize method. That means serializing is a process of converting the accounts into string format. This is called as serialization. Account means what? Object. Account object format. I'm converting this account into string format is called as serialize. So I'm serializing this information into string format. Once the data is available, I'm going to passing this data to my future method, because future method will support okay primitive type of parameter. Once it has been reached to that future method, we are going to be deserializing, nothing but convert this string format of records into list of account object types. For that one, we have used deserialization. Okay, serialize, deserialize. So whatever the string format of content that I have received, I'm converting back to that list of account type so that we can able to manage. So that basically by using this serialization, we can convert the objects into string format, and by using the deserialization, we can convert string into object format. Like as suppose for example, in I think everybody is having the modems, okay, Wi-Fi routers inside their home, okay, Wi-Fi routers. So that is also called as a modem. Okay, that is also called as modem. Modulation, demodulation. It is converting. Okay, it is converting the digital data into analog and analog data into digital. So in this case, it is converting the signals. Okay, it is converting the signals. So now till now we are entering some data inside my inside my system. I have prepared one notepad file. That notepad file I am sending to the people through internet. Then what it will do? The modem is converting this particular text format of data into the digital format. Here, that digital format of data to analog, nothing but waves format, signals, so that it is transmitting the data over the network through the signals, and it is going to be reaching to the destination. There it will be converting from signals to the actual digital format so that they can see my content. Modulation, demodulation. That's what that is called as modem. Mo in the sense modulation, okay, dem in the sense demodulation. Converting digital format of data to analog and then analog to digital. Like the similar way. Now, everything is doing the same. Like for example, nowadays you are having DTH connections, like as Airtel, or it may be we are having Hathway, we are having Tata Sky, we are having so many DTH signals are available. So by using a dish, we are going to be receiving the signal. That signal is going to be representing in the form of a pictorial format inside your TV. For that one, we are using a set-top box. That set-top box is working like as a modem. So that's what here, that is also doing the same thing, nothing different. Now, so in this case, we can able to do both serialization and the deserialization with the help of this JSON format. This serialization is a process of converting objects into string format, and then deserialization, nothing but converting string format into object format. Reverse process of serialization. So now here in this case, whenever if you want to implement the serialization and the deserialization process, then we are using the help of JSON format. Now, so when coming to the JSON, so JSON is having some set of principles. There are some rules are available when coming to the JSON format. Now, simply we can say JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Okay, JavaScript Object Notation. What is this JSON format used for? JSON is a mostly commonly using messaging format to exchange the data between the multiple programming languages and the multiple applications which are developed by using different programming languages. Whenever if you want to pass some data or some information from one application to another application, we are using JSON format. Why we are using JSON? Because JSON is a human readable format, human understandable format. Because this is in the form of text format, it is a lightweight format which can be transferred over the network very easily without any network traffic. That's what JSON is more popular. JSON is more popular nowadays. So JSON format will be supporting by all the programming languages, all the technologies, all the databases, and all the applications and all the operating systems. Every programming language will support this JSON format because JSON is purely a human readable lightweight format. Most of the mobile applications are especially using JSON format of representation. Every mobile device Okay, every web application will be supporting this JSON format. That's what here JSON is more popular. Okay, when coming to that messaging formats. By using this JSON, we can able to implement serialization and the deserialization. So serialization means what? Converting object format of data into string format is called as serialization, and the reverse process of serialization is called as deserialization, which is used to convert the string format of data into object format. So whenever we are going to be using this JSON format content will be storing inside a file with the extension .json. Like as a Word document will be having the extension .doc or docx. Text file is having the extension .txt. Our Apex class file will be having the extension .apexc. Our Visual Force page file will be storing with the extension .vfp. Like the similar way, each and every JSON format of file will be storing inside a file with the extension .json. Now, so now here in this case, most of the application, every web service is using JSON format internally. Every web services are using JSON format. The web services and the APIs are using JSON format internally because okay, JSON format is very lightweight and very easy to parse. It's a text based. That's what it is parsing is very easy. That's what here everybody is using JSON format of representation nowadays. Now, but then when coming to the JSON is having some rules. Upon preparing this JSON format of content, it is having some set of rules, some set of principles. Like every programming language is having its own principles, its own standards, its own guidelines, its own limitations as well. Like the similar way, as part of JSON also it is having some set of rules, a set of principles. Upon preparing the JSON format of representation, upon representing some data in the form of JSON, we have to follow some set of rules. Then what are those rules here? This is a very simple concept, nothing different, nothing else. You know map concept in Apex programming? If yes, it is very simple. That's it. Same map collection concept, nothing else. Map is what? It's a key value pair collection. JSON is what? This is also key value pair collection. That's it. Here we have the key and the value. That's it. In the map also same key and the value. Based on the key, we can get the value. Like the similar way here also, we are having that key and the value. Now, so in this case, when coming to the JSON, whatever the information that you want to represent, data should be always represented in the form of key value pairs. So we have to specify the key and the value. You know, already we did previously when coming to our web services concept, if you want to send some data, we are going to be introducing in the form of key value pairs. Now, so in this case, suppose for example, I want to store some information. I want to store some customer's name. Then what we can do, key and the value. Key, we can specify the key. Colon, and we can specify the value. We have to represent each and everything in the form of key value pairs. Then how do we know whether it is a JSON or not? Every JSON format of data will be okay enclosed with curly braces. Curly braces. This is a format of JSON. Curly braces. Curly braces hold objects and each name is followed by a colon. So in this case, this is the key, this is the value. Okay, this is the key and this is the value. And then we have to enclose this data in the form of a curly braces, so which is called as the JSON. Whenever the data has been enclosed with this particular okay curly braces, then it is a JSON format of representation. Now, and then suppose if you want to store one more key value pair, like for example, then we can specify give a comma and then specify another key and the value. If you want to store one more element, then you can specify the key and the value. So this is one element. This element is having the key and the value. And then this is second element. This is the third element. So every element will be separated by using a comma. Each element will be separated by using a comma, and then the complete elements will be storing in the form of an object. Now, so in this case, we are going to be grouping the multiple elements like as an object. Now, so suppose if you want to store that multiple objects here, if you want to store the multiple objects, then we have to use an array type. Whenever if you are going to be segregating, nothing but whenever you are enclosing the data in the form of square braces, then it is nothing but array. Array should be always okay enclosed with the help of the square braces. The square braces is nothing but array format. This is a flower basis is nothing but object format. This is a JSON object. In this JSON object, we have some element. This is the key and the value. This is the first element. The second element, key and the value. Third element, key and the value. Like that, multiple elements you can store inside this object. That facility is available. Now, so now here in this case, okay, now here in this case, as part of this JSON format, we are going to be representing the data in the form of key and the value pairs format. In order to notate, in order to indicate this is the JSON format of content, the whatever the element that we have, those elements has to be get enclosed with curly braces. Curly braces is purely representing this is JSON format. If you're having some multiple elements, if you're having some multiple objects are there, then we have to enclose with the help of array format that is called as square braces. That is called as square braces. Now, so in this case, when coming to the JSON, JSON is also having some set of data types. JSON supported data types. What are the various data types supported by JSON format? When coming to the JSON, it is supporting the various data types like as number data type. And the second one, string data type. Third one, Boolean data type. Fourth one, array data type. And the fifth one, object data type. And the sixth one, null data type. These are the various data types supported by JSON format. JSON is going to be supporting these 6 data types: number data type, string data type, Boolean, array, object, and the null. These are the 6 data types which will be supporting by the JSON format. Then what exactly each and every data type, how to represent the information? How to represent the number values, how to represent the string values, Boolean values, array values, object values, nulls, everything we'll see in tomorrow's session. In tomorrow's session, I would like to continue with this JSON so that tomorrow we'll complete this JSON format of okay, representation. So that from day after tomorrow, we'll continue with the Visual Force. Okay. So tomorrow I'm going to be discussing about the JSON format of data types, how to represent each Salesforce record in the form of JSON format, how to represent an Apex class in the form of JSON format, how to represent arrays also. I will show you practically in tomorrow's session. Don't miss that tomorrow's session. And along with that, we'll see a class called as a JSON parser class. which is used to parse the JSON content. Right now, we will prepare that JSON format. Suppose if somebody is giving some JSON content to me, then how to parse that back to my actual object here. How to do that, we'll see practically with the help of this a class called as JSON parser class. How to parse the JSON content, we'll see practically in tomorrow's session. Okay, tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, we have the session as usual. Okay, but I would like to take up that integration continuation session. JSON topic continuation, I will take up tomorrow so that we can complete this JSON by tomorrow. From day after tomorrow, we'll continue with user codes as it is. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Do we have class evening?
No, no.